Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm thrilled to be trying out another eyeshadow palette. I feel like fall is typically the time where we see a lot more eyeshadows, and honestly I'm not mad about it. You guys know I just barely tried out the new Mario the Ethereal Eyes Moonlight palette, and in that video, I'm loving this by the way, but in that video I talked about how I just bought the new Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette. It came in the mail, and when I opened this up I audibly gasped. It is so pretty. It's so much more pretty in person than even what it looked like online, and it looks beautiful online. Are you guys ready for this? Okay, so here's the palette. Look at these colors. You have to be kidding me. Like, you're actually joking. This is like my soul in a palette. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about like the glittery pigments in here, but then the matte shades are so beautiful. It's very cool toned, but I'm very into cool tones personally, and so I can't even wait to dive into this. This is the same price as their other palettes. It's $69 and it's the same size as well. You get 18 shades in here, which is amazing. I can't wait to try this. I mean, let's just get to it, honestly. Before I put it on my eyes, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of a swatch so that we can really see the full spectrum of textures. So let me just get these swatched on my arm and then I'll show you. Okay, this could quite possibly be the most messy swatch I've ever done. Looking back, I probably should have layered them on top of each other because there's just so many colors. I low-key ran out of arm space, so they became very close together. But here is the whole palette swatched. I've got to say, while swatching these, it made me more excited to try them and put them on the eyes. The shimmer textures are so, like, emollient and feel so luxe, and the mattes are so buttery. Let's make a look. I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of concealer. I've actually been trying out the Westman Atelier concealer lately. So far so good. All of my friends really love this concealer, so that's what made me want to try it. But I'm gonna use this as kind of an eyeshadow primer today, just a little bit on the eyelid to kind of cancel things out. And then we're gonna get going on an eye look. I was so excited because this palette is at Sephora and the Sephora sale is happening right now. But I just checked the Sephora app and it looks like this palette is sold out right now. So you might want to sign up. I'm hoping that they restock before the Sephora sale ends. If not, it was available on their website, so I'll have that link down below as well. I'm the most excited about like these shades right here. These two were so soft, so beautiful. There's even a pressed glitter in here called Bling, which I thought was kind of interesting, but let's start building out the look with the mattes first. Let's use the shade Oneself right here, just to start creating a little bit of dimension and depth. I can't even tell you how excited I am about this palette. I feel like the Mario one got me really hyped as well, but this has a little bit more of a variety with texture, and it's around the same price point, is it not? Is it the same price? Here's a comparison. I know they're like really not comparable in a way because this leans more like blue, or this has more of the mauves in it, but just wanted to show you side by side how they kind of compare. Okay, we've got that in the crease and a little bit above as our transition shade, and then let's go into the shade Lavish. I like how there's a couple of shades in here that lean a little bit warmer, like this one, First Class, and Cold Plunge, just because sometimes I feel like when it comes to a cool toned look, if you don't have a tiny bit of warmth somewhere, even if it's just a bronzer, sometimes it can look a little too cool toned. I don't know. So I really like how you've got a little bit of rosiness in here as well. So it's not straight like silvers and grays. You have something else to work with and to ground your looks with. All right, we're just taking this on a BK Beauty 2112 brush, and I'm kind of just feathering that on top of where we just applied that first shade and building up a little bit more pigment on the outer edge of the eye right here. I'm going to make sure to feather this out toward the end of the brow so we have a nice little gradient. Next, let's build up the depth a bit with the shade Faux Fur. It's like this brown, but it has a little bit of berry in it. So we're going to make things a little more smoky today. I'm planning on going for like a full-on eye look with this palette. I'm just feeling very inspired, so we're really going to go for it. We're going to make something pretty glamorous. All right, I'm going back in with my BK Beauty brush. I'm just kind of blending everything together a little bit more. Okay, now I kind of want to create a little bit of a cut crease almost with this color right here called Avalanche. This is a nice kind of icy white color, and I'm wanting to create a little bit of dimension right in this inner portion here. I'm gonna fill in this area with some shimmers, but I kind of want to have a bit of a precise line and brightness in that area. So I'm gonna do that before we put any shimmers down. This is the perfect brush to do it with, by the way. This is the Nikki LaRose and BK Beauty collab. This is the N12. This brush is insane. I love it so much. I love how that kind of opened up the eyes and brightened things up and created a lot more structure and shape in that inner area. Also gonna take just a tiny bit and apply that right underneath the brow bone, just for a little bit of a cleaner brow look as well. Now that we've got that there, I also feel like I can take the eyeshadow up just a little bit more. I'm only using what's left on the brush to kind of buff that a bit higher. I feel like I have to use this color. When I swatched these on my arm, Diamond Dew is what I felt like stood out the most to me. It's the coolest texture. So I'm gonna go in with this and I'm gonna start applying this all over the lid. I may have grabbed too much. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I feel like I grabbed a little bit too much though. I'm gonna try to kind of spread this out all over. A little bit goes a long way. That is absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh, that's such a statement. Okay, I'm gonna take my brush that we had with that darker brown color and I'm just gonna try to fade out the edge a little bit nicer than where I had it. Okay, I'm not gonna go in as heavy on the other side, and that way I'll have a little bit more control to actually build this up on the lid. But what a beautiful eyeshadow. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect winter palette. Although, I mean, it's got so many mattes. I really feel like you could get away with this all year, especially if you love wearing cool tones. So pretty. Wow, wow, wow. All right, same thing on this eye. Just making sure you've still got a little bit of that purple left. I might even add a little bit on both sides just so that I don't lose the depth on that outer corner. Just gonna put a little more on this side. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a very tight eyeliner right up against the lash line. I'm not wanting the eyeliner to take away from the look. I'm just trying to make my lash line a little bit more visible, basically. So I'm putting this just against that top lash line. By the way, this is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. Before I clean up the fallout, I'm taking a little bit of that blue color. Well, it's kind of like an iridescent shade called Iced Out. And I'm wanting that to be right in the inner corner and then blend into that more silver shade. I just think it's so pretty and I want to try out another color, so I'm just adding that to the inner corner. Okay, my hand slipped and my eyeliner got all funky on this side, but we're gonna clean up the fallout really quickly. And at the same time, I'm gonna clean up the edge of the eyeshadow. Okay, I'm just gonna press down the line with my finger so that nothing looks too harsh. And then we're gonna go in with some mascara. I'm gonna use the YSL Lash Clash mascara. Actually, let me do a little bit of the Dior Lash Primer as well. So we'll start with this. This combo just gives really nice full lashes, which is what I think this look needs. So I'm gonna go with the primer and then the mascara on just the top lashes for now. And then we'll go into the rest of the makeup. But I'll show you just on one eye, the Dior primer, and then I'm gonna layer up the Lash Clash mascara. And the two together just create a really nice lifted and voluminous lash look. So I love doing that combo when I almost want it to look like I'm wearing false lashes, but I don't want to wear false lashes. Instead, I just build up this mascara on top of the primer, and it always does the trick. All right, so mascara is on. I'm gonna go ahead and do my base makeup, and then we'll do the lower lash line to complete the eye look. I'll be sure to link all the products that I'm gonna be using. I just, wanna keep this video more eyeshadow palette focused, so let me do my base, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got foundation, concealer, powder, and bronzer on. We're gonna hop back into the lower lash line with the same palette. Gosh, this is such a pretty palette. Let's go into the shade High Life right here. I want a little bit of that rosiness on the lower lash line. So I'm gonna take this, pinch the brush, and apply that across the lower lash line. I will say I'm noticing quite a bit of fallout from the glittery shade. I don't typically, apply like a glitter glue or anything like that. And for me, I'm completely aware that that comes with the territory of a glittery eyeshadow. There's definitely more fallout than, say, the Mario one, but the glittery pigments in this palette are larger than the Mario one. So just keep that in mind. I do feel like I applied way too much on this eye, so maybe that's why I'm experiencing a little bit more, because I feel like I see more here than on this eye where I was a little bit more controlled. It's not a deal breaker for me. I'm just pointing it out in case you were wondering, I guess. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit more of a tighter color. I think I want to do the faux fur shade that we have on the outer edge. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and create a little bit of depth right along the outer third of that lower lash line, super close to the lashes. I found that like when it comes to deeper shades, it looks cleanest even if you smudge it out, but it looks the cleanest if you keep it as close as possible to that lower lash line. I think I want to take a little bit of the silver color called Platinum, and I'm going to take that on that same small brush and just smudge it right here along that lower lash line, because I want some of that silver on the lower lash line, but those more glittery shades would definitely have more fallout. So this is a little bit more of a fine glitter pigment, so I think it'll stick better. I'm going to go back in with the fluffy brush I was just using and make sure that's nice and blended. And then we're going to do a little bit of lower lash mascara. And I'm going to actually use the Cali Ray mascara for this because the Lash Clash brush is a little bit too big in my opinion, and it tends to get messy on the lower lashes, so I'm going to use my Cali Ray one. Alright, we're going to finish up the look with a little bit of blush. I'm going to take my Moira Beauty Endless Diffusion Baked Blush in the shade Paradise. This is such a good blush for any time where you don't want the blush to compete with your look. But this does have like a little bit of a mobbiness to it. And it's swirled in with like a toasted color, so you get a very pretty, almost sun-kissed pink, but it's subtle and soft. It's a great everyday blush, but also perfect for looks like this. This actually matches this palette really well. I do feel like I want a little hint of a brightness, so I'm going to take my Moira Beauty Baked Blush in the shade Oasis, which is the most beautiful berry color. I actually love layering Oasis with Paradise. I'm going to put a little bit just on the apples of the cheeks for just a hint of like berry. Okay. Then for my favorite part, the lip combo. Let's see. I think this Glossier lip liner could be nice. This is the Glossier lip line in the shade Bit. It's a nice kind of mauve berry. You could also do something very nude with this eye look, but I'm picturing a little bit more of like a rosy lip look. Then I'm going to apply my Makeup by Mario lipstick in the shade South Shore. I talked about this in my Sephora recommendations video. It's such a good color. I'm debating whether or not to put on a little bit of gloss, because sometimes I like the eyes to be the focal point, but I guess since this is like an icy look, we might as well put on a little bit in just the center of the lips. This is the Dior lip gloss in the shade Opal, also one of my Sephora recs, and it also goes very well with this eye look. I'm feeling like I want a bright waterline. I normally would decide this way before this moment, just to make sure everything looks extra clean. This is the Victoria Beckham eye brightening pencil. There we go. All right, let's assess the situation. I'm gonna add a little bit of bronzer to my neck, actually. I feel like my neck looks like it's floating a little bit. I'm just using the Hailey's Beauty bronzer for this. I'm gonna add a little bit of blush with whatever's left on my blush brush. By the way, this is from my beauty brand Moira Beauty as well. This is the brush that I designed to go perfectly with the baked blushes. It's one of my favorite brushes. I use it for everything, honestly. Let's do a little setting spray. Today I'm gonna use the Mario one. Spritz that all over. Then let's set the brows with the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. One final touch, I'm gonna put on my Victoria Beckham Balmy Highlighter, just for a little bit of a glow. All right, so that's the finished look using the brand new Huda Beauty Icy Nude Palette. I love how my eyes look. I am such a cool toned gal though, so these colors are completely me. Like, I really love the entire color story here. I will say there is quite a bit of glitter fallout, like I mentioned before. So I might play around with like a better way to adhere it to my eyelids later down the road, but I love the reflect, so like I'm willing to figure out how to best use the more glittery pigments. I feel like this is very balanced though, with a lot of matte shades as well. You could do a completely matte look with this and it would be so pretty. Let me know if you guys want to see that, by the way, in a future tutorial. But for me, this just inspires me. I'm so excited about it. I really love how my eye look turned out. I can't wait to do more eye looks with this. The color story is something that just flatters me. It's something that inspires me. So for me, it's kind of a no-brainer palette. I'm so happy to have it. I'm so happy that I bought it. When it comes to comparing, and I know again, like you can't really compare these because the formula is different, the whole vibe is different, but these are the two newest palettes that have inspired me. So I'm just going to say this in case it helps somebody out there. The Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Moonlight palette, I feel like this is better for somebody who likes to dip into sparkles every once in a while, but maybe you're not like a super reflective type of a gal. And in that case, I think something like this would give you a similar energy. It does lean a little bit more on the blue side of things because of the blue. And like more silvery, but you still do get a very icy vibe. It's just not going to be as like reflective as the Huda Beauty. If you're somebody who loves bold eyeshadow looks and you love cool tones, then I would say go for this one because this has a little bit more options. You are missing like the blue tones in here, but I feel like mauves are very flattering. You could take this from day to night as you could with this one, but you just have more colors to choose from. I'm pretty sure they're the same price, if not very close in price. So I feel like out of the two, they're both great for different things. I'm excited about both, but this one kind of tickles me a little bit more just because it has a little bit more innovative textures within this palette and the reflex are just insane. It makes me so excited to continue to wear this, especially through winter. Like all you need is this palette, a little rosy glossy lip, a nice little pink blush combo like we did, and you could wear the prettiest just solid color sweater. Are you kidding? Like could you imagine like a chunky, creamy turtleneck sweater with this makeup for winter? You're kidding. It would be amazing. I don't know. This is really exciting for me. I really, really like it. Again, a little more glitter fallout than the Mario palette, but you also get more glitter on the eyes. So it's kind of one of those things where you kind of got to pick and choose, but I'm excited about it, you guys. I'm so thrilled about that palette. I haven't had a full palette that's like excited me like that since maybe the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Like that's how excited I am about this new Huda Beauty palette. To me, it might be their best palette yet. But again, that's very like personal preference because these tones are just exactly what I personally reach for right now. So I'm in love. I'm so excited about it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are excited about this palette or if you're going to pass on it. I know with cool tones, it can be a hit or miss for some people, but I did really appreciate how you still had some neutral tones in there. You still had a little bit of warmer tones to round things out. So if you did use the silvers and you popped in a little bit of that rosier pink, I feel like it kind of helps balance everything out. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it helpful, especially if you bought this palette. I hope you liked the look that I created. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more looks using some of these new palettes, whether it's the Mario Moonlight palette or the Icy Nude eyeshadow palette. Let me know. I know Natasha Denona also just released like a purple toned palette, which I just received in PR. So if you want me to create more eyeshadow looks using more new eyeshadow palettes, let me know in the comments. If you want to see me reuse some of these palettes, if you picked anything up, especially during the Sephora sale, if there's something you want to see me reuse, let me know because I'm very inspired by both of those palettes and I would love to create more looks with either of them. So you guys tell me in the comments. But yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.